Hi, I'm Dr. Patrick KERR. I'm a chiropractor that specializes in the neck, and I've been practicing in New York City for 21 years. I've treated thousands of people with head and neck injuries. During that time, I developed what is called the KERR collar. This KERR collar is a football neck protection device that turns a standard issue pair of shoulder pads into a system that engages the helmet during collision, absorbs and disperses forces away from the head and neck area. I've seen damage so bad between head and neck injuries that really just debilitate people. What I'm going to do with the help of the Sharks is make football safer. I'm seeking a $500,000 investment for 10% of KERR Sports, but more importantly, I'm looking for a strategic partner to help me make football safer. I've researched and developed this over 10 years. We started developing this with Virginia Tech Center for Injury Biomechanics and studying, can I take forces away from the head and neck area during collision? With this device, I can reduce up to 58% of forces to the neck, which is a tremendous benefit for young athletes that are putting their life at risk for playing football. What's happening in football right now will be illegal very soon. Let me tell you the problem. Here's Jake. They give him a helmet, shoulder pads, and say, Jake, go out in the football field and good luck. Turn around, Jake. What's happening here, and you can see it quite clearly, this area is completely exposed to injury. So that when Jake steps out on a football field, when he goes to collide with another player, all this force going from his helmet to his head gets distributed right to this naked area. Mr. Wonderful, this part is for you. You want to know about stopping the insanity? Putting a kid on a football field like this is insanity. What Jake should be wearing when he steps out onto a football field should look like this. This is the KERR collar placed into a standard issue pair of shoulder pads, and it turns these pads into a system, go ahead and raise your shoulders up, Jake, that engages the helmet during collision. It absorbs and disperses the forces away from Jake's head and neck area. With the help of the Sharks, within 2-3 years, you will not see a kid on the football field without a KERR collar. The KERR collar is a football neck protection device that holds 2 utility patents and has been researched over 10 years with the help of Virginia Tech Center for Injury Biomechanics. With this device, I can reduce up to 58% of forces to the neck, which is a tremendous benefit for young athletes that are putting their life at risk for playing football. We have been selling the KERR collar for 2 years. We just got into Dick's Sporting Goods, Sports Authority, Academy Sports, also East Bay Online. What I want to do with the money is get more inventory, because when parents finally realize that you can make your kids safer on the football field, we're going to blow the doors off of this. So I need money for inventory, operating costs, liability, insurance. So what the investment is for is to make sure that this gets out onto the football field. Because when you have a head injury in football, you have a neck injury. And when you have a neck injury, you have a head injury, and I'll explain why. When you have a mechanical disturbance of how the head transitions to the neck, we start to have concussion-like symptoms, pain, dysfunction, depression. All of these things can be easily traced back to flow of spinal fluid right into the brain. And what we do with football is we put a helmet on. So now you've got a helmet that protects the skull and tries to protect the brain during collision. We also put a pair of shoulder pads on. And what this does is protect shoulders. But look at this area. Isn't it better to create a system that we have the helmet interacting with the shoulder pads to add protection to the cervical spine area? This helmet can be driven right in there. Look how much better these shoulder pads look with a KERR collar in place. This makes sense, that when a helmet comes in, it has somewhere to land on rather than driving all the way into the body and causing a catastrophic injury. When I went out to play football as a young child, around 11 years old, they give you a helmet and they give you shoulder pads. And I noticed something about the shoulder pads that innately I used a towel and I would roll this towel up and wrap it around my neck and then throw the shoulder pads on top of it. When I continued to play football in high school, I made my own makeshift device. I took a device that was on the market and I taped it down to make it harder so it would actually reduce forces to my neck. That device helped me make it through high school and college football. When I got to chiropractic school, I found out that I had this congenital abnormality of my first bone in my neck fused to my skull, and I should never been allowed to even be on a football field. But with my makeshift device, luckily I made it through. So let me just take you through some of the development of the KERR collar. This device was my first device probably 10 years ago, where I went to Virginia Tech, Center for Injury Biomechanics, and I told them I have a good idea to take forces off the neck during collision. The interesting thing about that is that I actually did some of the first dynamic neck testing that's ever been done in football, and it was done 10 years ago. So it just goes to show you the neck has been totally forgotten about, never really looked at, until we started to really do some research on it. And then we started realizing that we need to start changing dimensions, changing materials, and so this is just other pieces of devices, old ones, that we kind of, changed it and experimented with it. In 2013, we picked a couple top universities like Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, Virginia Tech, Georgia, big football programs. These guys were so open to trying something new. We started doing some field testing where these guys actually put it on some players and started giving us feedback. So with that feedback, we started changing these. But as you can see, the KERR collar has evolved over 10 years. And I feel like right now, we've got a great, great product. I've invested over $500,000 of my own money, and with help from friends and family, we're raising over another $600,000. I've researched and developed this over 10 years. Through the development of the KERR collar, started with this, and now we've got this. This device is a revolutionary piece of equipment that's going to make football safer.